Every day at noon, James Cordero set up his cart in the shadow of the broken water recycler on Station 47's lower deck. The station authorities called it the Forgotten Level, a polite term for where refugees, drifters, and the displaced gathered like dust in corners. James called it home. Line up, he called out, stirring a massive pot of stew. Nothing fancy, protein paste, reconstituted vegetables, synthetic grains, but it was hot and filling and free. The kids came first. They always did. 3 alien children pushed to the front, as they had every day for the past 2 months. Siblings, James assumed. The oldest, Kira, had scales that shimmered blue-green. Her brother Tef's skin shifted colors with his emotions, currently a nervous orange. The youngest, Miko, barely reached James's waist, with 4 arms that clutched his worn bowl like treasure. Extra today, James said, ladling generous portions. Found a guy selling spice packets for cheap. Thank you, Mr. James, Kira said in careful standard. She always spoke for her siblings, translating his words into their chittering native tongue. Where's your mom? James asked, as he did occasionally. They never answered. After the kids ate, the adults came, tired dock workers, unemployed engineers, families who'd fled wars James only heard about on news feeds. He served until the pot was empty, then cleaned up and went to his day job scrubbing plasma conduits. At night, he prepped for tomorrow's lunch. It wasn't charity, not really. He'd been one of those hungry kids once on Earth, before the colony ships. He remembered what it felt like when Mrs. Chun from the corner store would slip him day-old noodles. How it felt to be seen, to matter. One day, Tef came alone, his skin a frightened purple-black. Miko's sick, he managed in broken standard, pulling James's sleeve. Please help. James grabbed his first aid kit, pathetically inadequate, and followed Tef into the maintenance tunnels where the kids apparently lived. The space was barely a crawl space, hidden behind old conduit panels. Miko lay on a pile of thermal blankets, shivering, all 4 arms wrapped around himself. How long? James asked. 3 days, Kira whispered. We have no papers, no ID chips. If we go to medical, they'll separate you. James had seen it happen. Undocumented minors got shuffled into the system, families torn apart. Okay, I've got a friend. Dr. Sarah Okonkwo came, without questions, examined Miko, and administered antibiotics from her personal supply. Pneumonia, she said quietly. Another day, and she didn't finish. For 3 weeks, James brought food to their hideout, medicine when they needed it, blankets when the heating grid failed. He never asked about their parents again. The galaxy was full of orphans. Then one morning, James arrived at his usual spot to find it surrounded by soldiers. Not station security. These wore armor that seemed to absorb light, carrying weapons that hummed with barely contained energy. A woman stood at the center, tall and regal, with scales that shifted through every color of the spectrum. She wore a crown that floated above her head, held by some technology beyond James's understanding. You are James Cordero, she said. Not question. Yes. I am Empress Alveth, sovereign of the Caldrith systems, commander of 300 worlds. She gestured, and the soldiers parted. Kira, Tef, and Miko stood there, clean and dressed in fine clothes, but looking terrified. These are my children. James's legs nearly gave out. There was an assassination attempt. Aku. I sent them here, to the last place anyone would look, while I secure my throne. Her colors shifted to something soft, almost vulnerable. I expected them to survive, perhaps. I did not expect them to be cared for. They're just kids, James said, finding his voice. Someone had to. Someone did not have to. Someone chose to. She stepped closer. You fed not only my children, but hundreds. You asked nothing, expected nothing. What happens to them now? They return with me. To safety. To their birthright. She paused. But first, my son insisted we come here. He wished to say goodbye to the lunchman of Station 47. Miko broke free, all 4 arms wrapping around James's waist. Tef and Kira followed, and James found himself crying into their small shoulders. You will want for nothing, the Empress said. Name your reward. James looked at the crowd gathering. His people, the hungry and forgotten. Keep the cart running. Feed them. Every day. That's all. The Empress smiled, and for a moment, she looked almost human. It will be done. And James Cordero, know this. You will always have the protection of the Cauldron throne. You gave my children more than food. You gave them proof that kindness exists in a cruel galaxy. They left in ships that made the station shudder. James's cart remained, now staffed by rotating volunteers, funded by an anonymous imperial donation. But James still came every day at noon, ladling stew, learning names, seeing people. Because that's what mattered. That's what always mattered.